Let's learn something really quick.
If you got the time, absolutely. And you got the discipline, there's no question about it.
I love that. Yeah, that's a great practice to put into your everyday life, you guys.
You generally regret the things you don't do, not the things you did do. Let me say it that way.
Mic drop. This was just awesome. I love meeting my guests in person, and it's a whole nother animal, and the energy is just electric. You guys, this is your host, Deanna Radulescu with Label Free Podcast. To live your best life, you must live label free. What is good, everyone? This is your host, Deanna Radulescu with Label Free. To live your best life, you must live label free. As always, bring you incredible guests from all over the world, so sit back, relax, and tune in. My next guest is a licensed marriage, family counselor, relationship, and life coach in private practice for over 25 years. He's got a triple master's degree in counseling and guidance, education, and educational psychology. He's done 7 years of training in NLP, and he has coached some of the biggest people in the world, Academy Award winners, Grammy winners, a Pulitzer Prize winner, also top actors, pro athletes, and multimillionaires. Please welcome Fred Talisman. Fred, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Diana. I'm really delighted to be here.
I am super pumped to have you here. People don't really know your whole background. Like, I've got pages and pages and pages of like your resume and your bio and all the things that you have achieved over the years. So like, I just kind of want to start at what got you into becoming a therapist and going into private practice. What was that like aha moment that you wanted to pursue this route?
Well, it started when I was 16 years old because I had my Mr. Miyagi, like Mr. Miyagi from Karate Kid.
Yes, love it.
He didn't teach me karate. He taught me, oh, that would have been cool. What he taught me about communication and relationship and philosophy. And he was my life coach.
Yeah. And back then, life coaching wasn't very popular. We use that term very loosely now. I'm a certified life coach. And I think that we've always had life coaches in our life, but we didn't know what to call it back then, right?
Sure.
And I think that we've all had a Mr. Miyagi, whether we want to acknowledge it or not, or we really never got it. But I love that you put it in those terms because I know I've had one, and, I think it's a beautiful thing. And so you had your Mr. Miyagi, you went to school, you got your triple master's degree, and now here you are, you're starting into your private practices. Or no, you didn't get into private practice right away. Like, what was like the process there starting to do what you do?
Well, I actually did a full apprenticeship before I got into graduate school.
Okay.
So I was doing coaching, so I wasn't licensed yet.
Okay.
So I was doing life coaching and relationship coaching. And then I got my degree and my licensing. And then I started being an official marriage counselor and psychotherapist.
Wow. That's awesome. That's pretty heavy though. I'm sure you've heard a lot of different stories. Now, where did NLP come in? And we're going to talk about what NLP means. I love this modality of healing and helping people. And there's a lot out there now. There's a lot of different techniques and different modalities that therapists like you use to really help people at different phases in their life. So first of all, you've got 7 years. Can you tell people the reason why you took the training? And number two, what it means and what it can do for your clients when you use that technique?
Well, a friend of mine, also a therapist, right after I got out of graduate school, he made a statement that I couldn't ignore.
Okay.
He said, there's this amazing thing that's just come out called NLP, and it's going to make everything you learned in graduate school totally outmoded. And my first reaction was, I don't want to.
Yeah.
I've been in school since I've been 3 years old. I need a break from learning things.
Yeah, for sure.
And so I decided to go to one training, and I was hooked. And he was 100% correct. It was brilliant. It is brilliant.
What does NLP mean, and what does it do to help your clients or patients, whatever you want to call it?
Well, what it stands for is neuro-linguistic programming. Who knows what that means if you're not trained in it. But what it does practically is it gave me the ability to understand with each person I work with the structure of their problem and the patterns of their problem, so I can create changes for them very specific to their patterns.
And a lot of our issues are pattern based, right? Something that we've learned over time. So that NLP helps us break down those patterns and create new ones, from what I understand.
That's one of the many things I can do with it. Yes.
Yeah, right. You're also a hypnotist.
Yes.
You have that's another thing you have on your belt to help your clients, patients.
People don't understand hypnosis. So I had this one guy that called me up, he's referred to me.
Yeah.
And he said, you really helped me. He did great helping my friend stop smoking with hypnosis. I'm a golfer.
Okay.
I'm working with a amateur golfer. I'm working with a golf coach. It's really expensive. He wants me to practice a lot, which is really boring. So why don't you just put me in hypnosis and make me a great golfer?
What? That's possible?
And he was really serious. And I said, save your money and use it for more coaching sessions. I can't give you unconsciously. It's not already there in the conscious level.
Yeah. Wow. I've never heard of that. That is really funny.
But he really was serious.
Yeah.
As opposed to when I work with a pro athlete and do hypnosis with them, helping them to access the skills and the training and the brilliance they already own.
Right. Okay. Well, that makes sense. So if somebody who doesn't have the capabilities or the skills, you couldn't hypnotize them to create those skills.
Right. Can't bypass the hard work in getting the foundation.
That's true with anything. Can't bypass the hard work. Quote him right now. So let's hear about the reason why, or the turning point for you that made you kind of like get more serious about being a marriage and relationship therapist / coach. Can you tell us like a little bit of that journey for like to let people know like why it's so important for you to do the work that you do?
Sure. Well, I had a turning point. It happened when I came home from a meeting and realized that we had been robbed. Our walls, which had been lined with my wife's mom's art, were gone. Every single painting was gone. And I was devastated because mom had already died. We loved her mom. That was part of our connection to her.
Yeah.
I knew my wife would be devastated. I looked around, she wasn't there, which I thought was wonderful, so she couldn't have been hurt. As I'm looking around the house to see what else they had taken, I found the note.
Oh, yikes. What'd the note say?
The note was from my wife. And it said, I love you dearly. I can no longer be with you. Any further communication with me should be through my attorney. Here's her name and number.
Did you know that was coming?
No, I was totally shocked.
That had to be hard.
I mean, I was really unhappy. I would never have left her because it's not my DNA. I'm a really loyal person.
Right.
We'd gone to 2 different really well-known marriage counselors. Each time going to them made things far worse.
Why do you think that those marriage counselors made it worse?
I mean, I felt really ashamed and humiliated that she left. It's my first reactions.
Yeah.
Because I thought, how can I, as a respected marriage counselor, not even fix and save my own marriage?
Yeah.
And I realized I and we weren't taught to do that. That many marriage counselors at times, probably me too at that point, were more relationship enders than relationship savers.
But why do you say that? What does that mean? Relationship enders instead of helping fix marriage or relationship? Because I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you. I've gone to my therapist and everything. And I think it takes a special skill set and a special like perspective to really help someone in a relationship, marriage, whatever have you, what have you, to help them mend what's broken.
Sure. Well, most things I do now to revitalize and save relationships, I created because it wasn't something I could find. Certainly wasn't something that I was taught.
Right.
You can't do what nobody ever taught you unless you create it yourself.
Right. Sure. Yeah. But can we identify what those things are that like other therapists do that are potentially, I'm going to use air quotes here, potentially like being relationship enders that because they weren't taught the right things to do. So what is it? So if somebody's listening to this and they're like, oh my God, I'm having a really tough time in my, or they're watching this. Hi, if you're watching this and they're having a tough time in their marriage / relationship and they're going to a therapist right now and they're not understanding why it's not working. So what are these things that the therapists that are traditionally taught to use that are not working, so that someone's listening or watching, they understand what those things are, and they're thinking, oh, this is supposed to help, but it's not.
That's a great question. So when somebody wants marriage counseling with me or couples counseling, I work with a lot of unmarried couples and individuals, and they want to do it as a couple, I give them a warning.
Okay.
The warning is, whatever you say in the couple session can and will be used against you by your partner. It is not a safe space.
Right.
It's not a place to go and say things without really being conscious what you're saying.
Yeah.
And the after effects. Your partner's not going to have amnesia for what was said or how it was said. So people even coming to it, and the way I was trained to do it, is getting people to get out their feelings toward their partner and what they're upset about. And that's why often in that process, they leave that session as worse than before they started.
Yeah.
With some lasting bad effects.
Right.
So that's one element.
Okay.
Another element is that we therapists are trained that insight, understanding, creates change.
Right.
Doesn't create change. You can know why you've got a problem and solve the problem.
Sure.
Change creates change.
Right.
So I went from being a traditional therapist to very result-oriented, giving people the mindset and the tools to actually make their life work and their relationship work and their parenting work and their business work.
Sure. Well, it's all combined, right? So if there's a breakdown in one area of your life, it typically is going to bleed into other areas, right?
Sure.
It's going to kind of break down other, your business, your performance, your health, all of that stuff.
That's correct.
What was your first step to creating your own process to helping mend and creating that change in the people that you were coaching or your patients at the time?
Well, I started questioning everything.
Mm.
And they started realizing, looking at, separating out from the theory that I had been taught and actually what was actually working or making things worse.
So what was the first tool or thing that you created that you started implementing with your clients that became practical to create that like mending or that saving or whatever you want to call it?
I had two really important life experiences that influenced some of the first changes I made. There was this really famous life coach at the time, and they really wanted to train with him. And he's coming to Los Angeles, where I lived, for like a training. And so it was about 100 people. This has formed this giant circle with the chairs.
Okay.
As each person introduced themselves to the rest of the group, and I'm really bored. And I could have told you, as traditional therapist, with each person, how that person was screwed up. And then he said something that was mind-blowing.
What was that?
He said, look at each person, remember what you heard them say, and find something so special in that person you could truly benefit from being with them.
Ooh, I like that.
What an aha moment.
Right. Sure.
I was trained to see people as how they were broken.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
And his message was, see yourself and everybody else you have contact with, including your patients, in their highest light.
Mm.
Speak to them from that place, help them know that about themselves.
Wow.
Work with them from that mindset.
So you were trained to see the negative labels in your patients,
Sure.
not the positive, beautiful things.
Or the strengths.
Right.
Or the resourcefulness. Or the courage. Or the nobility.
That's huge.
So that everybody in some area of their life that has been or is amazing.
Yeah, we all are.
All of us are. Every single person.
All of us. See, that's one of my downfalls. I see the good in people right away. It's not till later I see the bad. And then I'm like, crap. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, that's one of your strengths.
Oh, I agree. I would rather see the good in everybody than the bad. I think that would be a terrible way to live.
So I want to find, when I'm working with somebody, what their strength is.
Okay.
And then part of my work with them is helping to integrate that strength into the rest of their life.
And then that helps in their relationship as well then.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Sure. So that was your number one. What was the
Mhm.
second? What was the
Okay,
second?
number two was
Yeah.
when I was single after my first wife left. And by the way,
Yes.
big believer in living and practicing what I teach.
Okay.
I've been with my forever wife now for 28 years.
Oh,
We
wow.
had a glorious marriage and a
Oh,
glorious relationship.
that's beautiful.
So number two was
Yeah.
that when I was single, I was dating this woman. And one time she said to me, I wish you talked to me and treated me the way you talk to and treat your cat. At first, I thought that's weird.
Yeah.
You know what? There's nobody in my life at that point I loved or adored or treated and talked to better than that cat. That was me at my best. So I vowed to myself from that point forth, with that girlfriend and everybody ever in my life, I would talk to them and treat them as good as I talked and treated that cat.
I've had relationships or dating men that they treated their pets better than me. And it was interesting to be like, kind of, you have an out of body experience and you're watching that, like, hey, I'm an actual person. You say you love me, but you're not treating me the way that you treat your pets. And let's kind of unpack that for a minute. Why do you think that is? Is it a fear of intimacy or vulnerability or both?
I think that when we have a pet in our life, that they're like masters of unconditional love.
Yes, agreed.
We feel safe with them. There's no negative history with them.
Vulnerability. Okay.
It's a connection we have that's not tainted by anything else.
Right.
There's no fights. There's no arguments. There's no negative labeling. It's been done of us or us toward them.
Totally makes sense. So how were you able to, because it's scary to treat someone kindly when, number one, we experience like someone leaving us, right? We experience some kind of like abuse in the relationship, or just not being treated very well, being less than for that person, or they make us feel that way even though we're not. How were you able to, maybe it's something you could teach our audience, those of you that are watching, especially someone that might be doing this to someone else. Like if you have a pet, you're treating your pet much better than your partner. Were you able to flip that switch to be able to treat someone the same as you were treating your cat? The thing that you trusted the most, and you felt the most comfortable with.
Yeah, great. I can answer that. So it had to do with questioning how I was honest.
Okay.
I think most people in relationship use honesty as a weapon.
Mm.
And often comes out of a person's mouth, honestly, is the most negative things that get triggered.
Yeah.
Rather than a reaction to their own thoughts or feelings, or a reaction to what the other person says or does, or how they say or do it.
Yeah.
So I came up with a concept I call choice points.
Okay.
Which is being honest with a positive goal. Knowing before you communicate how you want to make that person positively feel, and make sure what you honestly say and how you say it supports that goal.
Yeah. Key thing there, how you say it. Yeah. Because that's hard. Because some people can like diarrhea of the mouth, right?
Yes. So with my wife, my choice point toward her is always the same. Every time I speak to her, I want to make sure that she feels loved and respected and emotionally supported.
Yeah.
Which is not my nature.
No?
Because the way that I was raised, my first thoughts at times are negative, blunt, sarcastic, harsh, critical, and confrontive.
Get out of here. I would have never thought that by listening to you.
Well, that means I'm doing a good job then.
Well, you've got a very soft tone. And so when you say that those are like, that is your natural way of being, to say we don't do that anymore. It's kind of interesting to hear that.
Well, just because I might think that way at times doesn't mean it should ever come out of my mouth toward anybody.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed. And I think that that's like the learned behavior that you help your clients with, right? And
Yes.
So even in my experience with my marriage to my late husband, and then my current marriage now, so I can lash out easily. Like I was raised in an abusive home, So I have like this behavior that I was taught early on, and that I've had to learn a new behavior. Like, I don't want to put fuel on the fire in a heated moment. I want to try to put it out. And like, how can we work through this disagreement in a healthy way where he feels honored, I feel honored, and we both feel heard, right? And when one person is trying to create a new behavior and the other person is not on board yet, that can be very difficult.
It can be, but it really takes one person to fix the relationship, not two.
Tell us what that means.
Well, most of the relationships that I revitalize and or save only get to work with one person. The other person won't be part of the process. And I give them the skills to bring back to the relationship. And they transform their relationship.
You're giving that person a lot of power.
Well, yeah, I want people to own their personal power.
Well, for sure, I agree. But if one person, if you're saying that all you need to do is help one person in a relationship, you're giving them a lot of power to fix and repair their marriage or relationship without the other person being a part of it.
Yeah, because it's the only choice we have.
I like that. I like that. So you're telling people, so anybody's watching us right now, you have the power. So if you are in a relationship or in a marriage that is struggling, Fred is telling you that you have the power to fix it if that's what you want to do.
That's right.
What's the first step for someone that is watching this right now or listening that want to take that first step to, like, what is it for you to help them to make that happen?
The first step with me is that I've created what I call a pop-up podcast. It's 4 episodes, and you're going to get 7-day free access to it when you go to relationshipmagic.com. I'll give you access to it. And I've given you in those 4 episodes a lot of the most important skills I teach people to revitalize and to fix and to save their relationship.
And why did you do that for people?
Well, I'm a man on a mission. I want people to be able to have loving relationships and to model that for their kids and to give that to their kids.
I mean, you live in one of like the biggest cities in the country, right? LA's probably got, I would think, maybe I'm wrong, one of the highest divorce rates, right? Because of LA, shiny object, woo, pretty girl, you know. And so for you to have made the impact that you have where you're at and to make this your mission, I think is an incredibly beautiful thing.
Well, thank you.
Let's plug that 4-part series really quick again and where people can find you. And then we're going to start wrapping things up and make an announcement for the audience.
Okay. So again, the way you can get access to that 4-episode series is to go to relationshipmagic.com.
And I'm going to put all those links in the show notes, you guys. But we have a special announcement here on this episode. Fred is going to be our resident relationship wizard moving forward. And so he's going to be here to help all of you that are watching, listening, or needing some help in your relationships, your marriage, what have you. So we're going to give you an email address that moving forward, if you have any questions for him or if you have any topics that you would like him to explore on the next episode, you're going to email labelfree at e360tvlive.com. That is labelfree at e360tvlive.com. And so you're going to email Fred Talisman, put that in the subject line, and just kind of give us your issue, what you want us to unpack next time he's on. He will be here with us quite often here over the next several months or indefinitely. We don't know. So we're going to just want you to reach out to us. Let us know what you're struggling with in your relationship and how Fred can help you, seeing that he has got many, 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 many years of experience in helping heal and save relationships. Right, Fred?
That's correct, Deanna.
I love it. We are going to end this one like I normally do on my other episodes with some last words of wisdom or advice. So, Fred, with the tone of the episode and where we're heading here moving forward, what would you like to leave with the audience?
My wish for you is to think bigger.
Okay.
Because people get resigned in their relationship.
Yeah.
And you're going to learn as you tune into these episodes with us that you really can create ongoing your relationship of your dreams. It really is doable to revitalize your relationship.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you how to do it in these episodes.
I love it. Yeah. Beautiful. Well, Fred, awesome. This was so fantastic. I cannot wait to unpack more of your gifts that you have for the audience and how we're going to help them move forward and save their relationships, save their marriage, and move forward in a beautiful way so that they are living the life that they ultimately want and they deserve. So thank you for being our resident relationship expert. And I cannot wait to welcome you back and take on the questions from the audience.
Thank you. My pleasure.
You're welcome. You guys, this is your host, Deanna Radulescu, Label Free. To live your best life, live label free. Don't forget to tune in every Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time here on E360 TV Live. And this will be on our podcast episodes and our YouTube and all the other things. So please come back, visit us again. And we look forward to making your life better and helping you live a better life, label free. Live your best life, live label free.